Well, I think the companies still have a lot to do for their core mission. For electric vehicles, sustainable energy, still less than 1% of the global fleet is electric. So you've got about 2 billion cars and trucks on the road, but still less than 20 million are electric at this point. So there's still a long way to go for sustainable energy, for sustainable energy generation. So this, the Tesla mission, I think we've made a lot of progress, but still it's a lot more ahead. Being a spacefaring civilization and making true the things that we see in the good science fiction movies, this is one of the things that I think can inspire all of humanity. Just like when the astronauts went to the moon in '69, it was something that, they said for all mankind, and it really was something. You say to any human on Earth, what's like the most amazing thing that humanity has ever done? At least one of those things would be, we went to the moon, But now for the first time, there's going to be something that is smarter than the smartest human, like way smarter than the smartest human.
Happy Juneteenth. For those that aren't familiar, go ahead and ask ChatGPT the history of Juneteenth, and then go find yourself a barbecue and have yourself a good time. Markets are closed, and no better way to spend it than with Elon Musk at Vivatech. I got the Supercut here for you. Let's check it out.
Hey guys.
You don't need any introduction. Your name is a brand. It's already a brand. It's a brand for innovation, for ambition, for
a perfume.
Yes. This is the agreement that you made with the Arnault family a few hours ago.
Really, it brands itself.
Yeah. And you are the origin of PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, to name a few, and even OpenAI. You love taking risks, and you are going always against the tide and the popular wisdom. You have been always proven right. Now there is, almost.
Not always.
Almost. Now there is a bet of the $44 billion question, which is, will you still be right with Twitter?
Sure.
So
it was expensive.
Yeah. You have done a lot of operation. You have created a lot of companies. The most important question for everyone is, what the hell is driving you? Why are you so obsessed by new operation, new creation, new things to do?
Yeah, crystal meth is the answer. If you think Red Bull gives you wings, man, that quote's gonna probably sting.
Well, I'll go ahead and chime in right here. Big thanks to The Independent for this recording. If you want to go ahead and check it out in full, it will be linked at the bottom. Elon's sense of humor very well could get him in trouble. As soon as he says the crystal meth joke, you can tell he's like, I do that. But I sure hope he doesn't clam up for the rest of the interview.
So, yeah, just kidding for the record. Well, I think the companies still have a lot to do for their core mission. For electric vehicles, sustainable energy, still less than 1% of the global fleet is electric. So you've got about 2 billion cars and trucks on the road, but still less than 20 million are electric at this point. So there's still a long way to go for sustainable energy, for sustainable energy generation. So this, the Tesla mission, I think we've made a lot of progress, but still it's a lot more ahead. Then SpaceX, the goal is it's a big goal, but we want to try to make life multiplanetary, to extend life beyond Earth, and I think this is important for a number of reasons, but yeah, there's the sort of defensive reason of ensuring that the light of consciousness does not go out. And if I may, some of these questions, if I'm going on too long, you feel free to interrupt me. But
Elon and the gang, they're not nowhere near done. In fact, they're just in the early innings of this massive disruption that will span decades, inspiring many to carry the torch for a better humanity.
you know, people do ask me, you know, have I seen UFOs and aliens and that kind of thing, and I haven't, and I think I would have seen them by now. So it appears that we might be the only consciousness, at least in this galaxy, and if so, that's kind of a scary prospect, because it means that the light of consciousness is like a tiny candle in a vast darkness, and we should do everything we can to prevent that candle from going out.
My thoughts exactly. We need to get to a Star Trek level of advancement quick, fast, and in a hurry.
So some of the things. So that means obviously taking the actions to ensure that Earth is good, that Earth is safe and secure for civilization, and I think it also means extending life beyond Earth to other planets in the solar system, and ultimately to other star systems. And I think that's both a sort of defense of the light of consciousness, and also, I think, a point of inspiration, because life cannot just be about solving one problem after another. We need things that inspire us. I mean, we need things that move our heart, and that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited to be alive. And being a spacefaring civilization and making true the things that we see in the good science fiction movies, this is one of the things that I think can inspire all of humanity. Just like when the astronauts went to the moon in '69, it was something that, and they said, for all mankind, and it really was something. You say to any human on Earth, what's like the most amazing thing that humanity has ever done? At least one of those things would be, we went to the moon, and so you want to have these inspiring things that make you excited to be alive and excited about the future. Most significant from a philosophical standpoint was that when I was about maybe 12 or 13, I had somewhat of an existential crisis, where I was like, what is the meaning of life? Is life just meaningless? Why are we here? What does it all mean? And I read a lot of books on religion and philosophy, and then ultimately, I read this book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is great. And in that book is really a philosophy book that's disguised as humor. And the point that Douglas Adams makes is that the real difficulty is understanding what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe.
Couldn't agree more. It's not going to happen with the snap of the fingers. We have to work for it. Wanting to understand something beyond ourselves. Still plenty left to explore on Earth, but the concept of trying to understand the meaning of life becomes confined by what you experience. 100% on board with what Elon's saying. There's no way we can understand the meaning of life without going out there and meeting Q, like Jean-Luc Picard did. Even then, there is so much to know. And since there's no way to acquire all that information, the answer is the universe.
And so from that, it was like, well, we have to make sure that Earth is good, so we have to have sustainable energy. We want to build technology to travel beyond Earth, and it's from that sort of core philosophy that these companies arise in most cases. You could say, how does Twitter help with that?
So I would like to go back to Earth.
Sure.
And to the various enterprises that you contributed to create, or co-created, or created. Let's start with PayPal.
Sure.
A very impressive company. Do you regret to have sold it?
I think in retrospect, I think it was good that the company was acquired by eBay, because there was so much talent at PayPal, and that talent subsequently went on to create many other companies. So YouTube, for example, was created by two people that worked at PayPal. There was LinkedIn was created from PayPal. There was Yelp. There was many other companies.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah. So, and if I'd been still working on PayPal, then there wouldn't be, Tesla would not be in its current form, and SpaceX wouldn't exist.
Yes.
So,
yes, I guess a short answer, yes.
Short answer is he does not regret selling PayPal. Could PayPal be something more special than it already is? Probably, if all those people stayed, but selling it allowed for a great many things, including what you're watching, to come to fruition. Thank goodness they sold PayPal when they did, or we'd be even further back on the spectrum to this goal of a sustainable energy economy and exploring the stars.
Moving to Tesla, I have, through one of our operations, done the first advertising campaign for the electric car of GM. That was at the end of the 90s. So can you explain why GM and other car manufacturers have not created Tesla, and why Tesla is successful? What is the difference?
You're talking about the EV1, basically. The EV1 car that... So General Motors actually did come out with this electric vehicle one, EV1. And it's...
yes, you remember, EV1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now pay real close attention here. GM had an opportunity, a golden opportunity, to root Toyota's dominance and everybody else, right, if they would have just followed through. Pay real close attention to what Elon Musk says in these next few segments.
I expected there would be an EV2, EV3, and so forth. And if they had done that, actually there would be no need for Tesla. But for reasons that aren't clear, GM recalled all of the EV1s, even from customers that really wanted to keep the cars. They recalled the cars and they crushed them in a junkyard.
Why would you do that? Is it that much of a threat to your current business? The concept of switching over to something that's so lucrative, but you find out your customers are gravitating strongly to this new product. This decision alone is why GM is going to have to bite and claw in order to survive the decade.
It still blows my mind that they did this, because the people who had the EV1s, they loved the car so much, they held a candlelit vigil at the junkyard where the cars were crushed. Okay, like it was like someone was getting killed, and it's like, if somebody is holding a candlelit vigil for because they love your product so much, maybe you should make more of it. Yeah. I mean, it's like pretty rare for candlelit vigils to be held for products. So I don't understand why they didn't do more. They should have, and they would be the leader in electric vehicles today. But they didn't. They didn't. And so there was a need for Tesla because at the time of starting Tesla, there were no electric vehicles being made. So the big car companies were not making electric vehicles. There were no startups that we were aware of making electric vehicles. So it's like, well, we should try. And I mean, in the case of both Tesla and SpaceX, I thought the chance of success was maybe 10%. So it's not like I thought it would be successful. I thought it would fail. I didn't start out wanting to do the rockets. At first, I was going to do this philanthropic mission to Mars called Mars Oasis. And then as I started investigating what it would take to launch this mission to Mars, just a little greenhouse basically, it was intended to inspire the public. And I started understanding more about what rockets could be used. I actually went to Russia a few times to try to buy some of their nuclear missiles, minus the nuke. That's extra. So that was pretty wild.
Oh man, these jokes. Minus the nuke. That's if these jokes fall flat, dude, it's about audience, right? So I don't know if they're really... Is he joking? But yeah, he's just trying to...
2001, negotiating to buy two of their biggest missiles. And unless there was something new with rockets, that was the fundamental issue. The cost of access to space was the fundamental issue. So it wasn't a question of trying to increase the public's desire. Public's desire for space and exploration is very high, but there needs to be a means. There needs to be a way, and there needs to be a radical improvement in the cost of access to orbit. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try starting a rocket company and see if it's successful. But like I said, I told people at the time, because people would say to me, tell me this joke, what's the fastest way to make a small fortune in the rocket industry? And the punchline is you start with a large one. Tough going for a while. Our first 3 launches failed. Fortunately, the 4th one succeeded. If the 4th one had not succeeded, SpaceX would not exist. So it was a very close call.
Fast forward, you created, or you co-created OpenAI.
Yes.
ChatGPT has been incredibly successful. It's the fastest growing ever story. And after having created OpenAI, suddenly you say, we should have a pause. Some people say, it's because he has not done it.
Well, I mean, I didn't think anyone would actually agree to the pause, but I thought just for the record, I just want to say I think we should pause. I didn't think that
Why do you want we should pause?
Well, I think there's a real danger for digital superintelligence having negative consequences. And so if we are not careful with creating artificial general intelligence, we could have potentially a catastrophic outcome. So now I think there's a range of possibilities. I think the most likely outcome is positive for AI, but that's not every possible outcome. So we need to minimize the probability that something will go wrong with digital superintelligence. I'm in favor of AI regulation because I think advanced AI is a risk to the public, and anything that's a risk to the public, there needs to be some kind of referee. That referee is the regulator, and so I think that my strong recommendation is to have some regulation for AI. Well, obviously I was on Twitter as a major user, and even before the acquisition closed, my Twitter account was the most interacted with account in the world. So I guess I'm pretty closely attuned to what's going on with Twitter. You know, I get a feel for how is it shifting one way or the other, and generally I was concerned that Twitter was having a negative effect on civilization, that it was having a corrosive effect on civil society, and so that, you know, anything that undermines civilization, I think, is not good. And, you know, go back to my point of, like, we need to do everything possible to support civilization and move it in a positive direction. And I felt that that Twitter kept moving more and more in a negative direction. And my hope and aspiration was to change that and have it be a positive force for civilization. And I think if somebody is a regular Twitter user, I think most people would say that their experience has improved. We've gotten rid of 90% of the bots and the scams and the various bad things that were happening. We've gotten rid of, now at this point, I think 95% of the child exploitation material that was on Twitter, which was a shock to see the amount of that. That was really terrible. Some of that had been going on for 10 years and no action. So I think we've done a lot of good in that respect. We've also done things like we have open sourced the algorithm, so we're trying to be as transparent as possible. So Twitter is the only social media company where you can see the actual code of the algorithm. So it's not like some secret black box. The Waitable Trust is not take my word for it. It's let's show you exactly how it works and full transparency.
Our oldest maison is called Claude et Lambret. I saw you enjoyed good wine.
Yeah.
It's 650 years old.
Wow.
Louis Vuitton was founded in 1854. Our most ancient American maison, Tiffany, was founded in 1837. The sum of the years of existence of all our maisons at LVMH is 8,393 years old.
Wow.
Tesla is a teenager, right?
Yes, yes.
19 years old.
Yeah.
And its market cap is already higher than LVMH.
So it's not a question of age.
How much longer are you going to make us look so bad? Second question, more serious. Do you feel the creation of value is more challenging in traditional or innovative business?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here and speak with you. So thanks for having me. Evaluations are a strange thing because, sometimes I've said, hey, I think the stock price is too high at Tesla, and then the stock price goes up. I'm like, okay.
So if you tweet, is it going up or down?
No, the crazy thing, when I've tweeted, I think the stock price is too high, almost always it goes up. So, I don't know, it's a strange thing. So, I guess in the case of Tesla, if the value of the company is primarily on the basis of autonomy. So, in my opinion, because if you look at our total vehicle output, it's it'll be almost 2 million vehicles this year or something like that.
Almost 2 million, something like that. Be surprised if he blows through that number. 2 million is the mark.
2% of total vehicle production. So then why is our market cap so high? And it's because the potential for autonomy the value of autonomy is so high that even if you have a discounted percentage probability of autonomy happening, that is still incredibly valuable. So the average passenger car is used only about 10 hours a week, so an average of about 1.5 hours a day. But if you have an autonomous robo-taxi, the utility might be 50 or 60 hours a week out of 168 hours. So now you've got a vehicle that costs the same but has 5 times the utility. So it's so gigantic a change that's really, I think, the main driver of our value. Although I've said this before, I think we will solve autonomy soon.
It will be soon. I mean, he has joked about it in the past, but it will be soon. If you haven't tried Full Self-Driving Beta, I encourage you, do a test drive. If they'll let you just get a feel for what it's like. If you ever use ChatGPT, and you probably should have if you looked up Juneteenth, you can realize how game-changing it is. Something that would have taken you a little while to research, you are able to grab in seconds. Now imagine all of the free time you'll have if you don't concentrate much or any of your brain power to that of driving. That's what Full Self-Driving Beta feels like. The burden of driving has been practically alleviated.
Another quick question. I tried Midjourney the other day.
Yeah, Midjourney's amazing.
Right, and I asked the software to make a Louis Vuitton advertising campaign with only 2 words. So here it's a bad question for you, Maurice. Right?
If you want to put me out of a job,
that was my question. Do you feel this advertising production industry is going to be threatened by AI?
be careful. Be careful.
Not at all. It's totally safe. I mean, AI is definitely going to be a massive disruptive force. I mean, AI is probably the most disruptive technology ever.
No hyperbole. AI is the most disruptive technology ever created. For so long, it was held in the minds of great science fiction writers and hypothesized by great scientists. But with the advancement of various technologies and the ability to combine computing power with these revelations, we're about to cross the horizon and venture past the point of no return. The applications, all of which will make humans more productive. Then it'll get to a point where, don't worry, I'll just do it, right? It'll be easier for the artificial intelligence to just do it. That's where it gets kind of nutty when you start talking about humanoid robots or autonomous vehicles. Don't worry, I'm assisting you at this moment to drive the vehicle, but it will get to a point where it's like, go ahead and take a seat in the back. I got it. You are now a problem. You are a liability. Ooh, it's a scary thought when you're talking about artificial intelligence.
advantage that humans have is that we're smarter than other creatures. Like if we got into a fight with the gorilla would definitely win. But we're smart, so. But now, for the first time, there's going to be something that is smarter than the smartest human, like way smarter than the smartest human. And as you can see from Midjourney, the art that AI can create is incredible. It's so beautiful, and it does it, within seconds. So we're at. I mean, I think there's that sort of saying, "May you live in interesting times," which I think is like not exactly a good thing sometimes. But we actually live. I think we live in the most interesting of times. The advent of AI, and I actually thought to myself at one point, like, would I really want to be alive at this point? Like, let's say that there is some AI Armageddon that happens, some sort of AI apocalypse. I think I would still want to be alive at this time to see it.
Facts. This is the most interesting time. Not a huge history buff, but there are times that I think I would have loved to be in. I mean, as an African-American male, the 1700s in America probably wouldn't have been ideal, but the wild, wild west is something that I would have loved. The good, the bad, and the ugly concept is amazing to me. Despite the atrocities associated with my skin color back then, I think I still would want to live in the wild, wild west. Play Texas Hold'em when the game was thriving back then. Little things, right? Those that are savvy with this technology, they will be the warriors in this time period. Whether they're fighting for good or evil, that's totally on them. This is going to be a wild, wild west scenario with this technology. Now, I've kind of gone off on a tangent, but this is a wonderful time to be alive.
I think we live in an extremely interesting time, because the things that you see AI being able to do now, it's going to do much more with each passing year. Cars will absolutely drive themselves better than any person could drive. We'll have humanoid robots. So Tesla's developing a humanoid robot. We call it the T800. It's yeah, some people get that joke.
All of his jokes, it's audience. These jokes are hilarious, but I mean, and he's still not afraid to let the joke land flat. Elon Musk in a different life would have been an excellent deadpan stand-up comedian. No fear of failure. And quite frankly, the world would be better if we had more individuals with his fearless spirit.
It's a Terminator. So
we can tweet that.
yeah. But if you like to say, what is an economy? An economy is GDP per capita times capita. Now, what happens if you don't actually have a limit on capita? If you have an unlimited number of sort of people or robots, it's not clear what meaning an economy has at that point, because you have an unlimited economy effectively. So like on the good side, the plus side of AI is that I think we are heading for an age of abundance, where any goods and services that you want, you can just have.
The age of abundance is right around the corner, folks. The only thing we really need is a Star Trek replicator. I wonder if there'll be one of those on board Starship. One can only dream.
Of AI future is an age of abundance.
From the advertising side, I must say that we are using AI since many years, and it is helping us a great deal. And this tool that we are already using, and I think it will be helping us to do even faster some very good ad. It will be probably long time before they replace the creative minds.
My question is, what business young people should focus on?
You want to focus on something that you are personally passionate about, that you personally care about. It's very hard to be motivated for a product that you don't really feel strongly about. And it doesn't have to be high tech. It could be in any field. It's got to be a product that you feel is really needs to be there, and something that you personally love. And I would listen to your instincts on do you love this product or service? Because it's kind of impossible to know what do other people love. But if you love it, that's a good sign. And that could be small to large, any field.
That's 100% true. Do what you love to do. It is nice to hear Elon cracking so many jokes and enjoying the warm reception of the people of France. The future looks bright. That's all I got for you today. Be easy. Peace.